Hello. Good evening, everyone. Super excited. Thank you for joining us on VAR on Air this evening. So we'll actually be talking to some of our new VAR staff, and I'll be welcoming them soon. So we have both Huan and Nguyen here. And let me actually just plug a little bit about our show. So as you know, VAR on Air is a bi-weekly virtual program where we cover information about programs and services from government agencies, local organizations, and significant issues our communities face. VAR on Air is a program hosted by the Vietnamese American Roundtable, a 501(c) nonprofit working to inform, mobilize, and advocate for our community of the critical and pertinent issues that impact their lives. This program streams live on VAR's Facebook page, as well as broadcasted to 14:30 a.m. KVVN radio station every other Sunday. I sound like a DJ. This is probably the closest thing I'm going to get. But thank you again for joining us. I know you're used to seeing Philip. He's absent today, so I'm going to be filling in and doing my best. I'm also actually a new VAR board member myself, and I'm here to welcome both Huan and Nguyen. And so lucky to have you all as our new staff. Say hi, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the warm introduction.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Linda, for taking time out of your day to interview us. I know you have better things to do, but thank you.
Thank you.
No, we'll keep it fun and light as well, because I know that it can be kind of nerve-wracking, right? Like being on air and whatnot, but we'll keep it fun and fairly informal. So we'll get to kind of know y'all. I know people have kind of seen your faces in some of the flyers that we broadcasted, but this is a really good chance to get to know staff, because I always get to like to get to know really what you're interested, what your passion is, and even your background, so that we can all kind of connect with y'all and to understand really kind of the, what VAR does, and also really have a better connection and wanting to meet y'all in person, since now we're doing a lot more events in person. And we'll talk about Black Friday a little bit. I'm sorry, Black April a little bit later on in this evening as well. And so as I mentioned, we'll be getting to know y'all. My first question is to Huan. So Huan, if you can tell us a little bit about, your background and working in the community and how you made your way to VAR, because I know you have both y'all have a breadth of a lot of great background in community organizing in the Vietnamese American space, but the AAPI space kind of in general, both with your different backgrounds and your different experiences. And so we want to get to know a little bit about you. So if you can go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. So again, hi, I'm Huan. You just get used to my voice and this face. I kind of got into this space through my undergrad at San Francisco State University. Go Gators! I studied Asian American Studies, and in one of my classes, we were supposed to be involved in some sort of community organization and just kind of do some community work. My initial intentions were to probably just pursue a career in education, but having to work in this community space, I eventually found myself at ACI, Asian Americans for Community Involvement, and I was intern for a couple months, just working in resource development and kind of working on the back end stuff of just like data analyzing and fun stuff like that. Eventually, I kind of worked my way or found my way to working at Asian Law Alliance a couple years down the line. So that was my first official step into just the nonprofit community space. So when I was at Asian Law Alliance, I was the volunteer and outreach coordinator, and I was the outreach and volunteer coordinator. So I kind of got the word out there in showing folks ALA's services. Asian Law Alliance did some immigration, housing, and some public benefits work. So I just got the word out there and let people know about if they have any legal questions in those realms. We would be the place to kind of get there. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. So there's
No, you're good. I think your noise though, I don't know if it's like in and out your microphone, but just so you know, there might be a little bit of technical like in and out. So I don't, yeah, you probably might not need to talk too closely with it. I think when you're away, it's actually a little bit better.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So,
So
yeah, you're fine like that. And I love how you talked about, Asian American studies. I did not take any Asian American studies, and I really wish I did. I think that is super fun. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on, taking Asian American classes and like how that might have motivated you to work in the field that you do now, whether it's community organizing, nonprofit, and all that great stuff that you learned?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. I was definitely not a model student. I coasted by with as like a B average student. So it was really hard for me to find something that really stuck with me. And I feel like, I just wanted to try something out. And when I took my first Asian American Studies class, this is like a 101 class, just like a basic intro. I was like, this is it. This is something that I actually care for and I became passionate about because I felt the importance of knowing one's roots and kind of where we came from and kind of those who came before us and kind of paved the way for us, and trying to reflect on that and I think overall just trying to make the future a little bit better than the way that you found it, so I feel like Asian American Studies kind of showed that path a little bit for me.
That's awesome. I love that you brought that up, especially Asian American Studies. I'm sure it talked a lot about like working with other communities and coalition building and allyship and intersectionality. And I think that that's being brought up now, and you can even see in a lot of courses that ethnic studies is required. I wish it was required back then, but it's better late than never. So are there certain figures or quotes or anybody that really sticks to you, that really like inspires you when you think that the hard work is really difficult and challenging, and you're like, oh, if they could do it, like I think I can do something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of you mentioned coalition building. I'm thinking of folks like Yuri Kochiyama, who kind of built that bridge with Black folks too. So like Asian Americans and Black folks, and just thinking into our recent history of the 2020 where George Floyd, it's like we can see how two groups are kind of separated as the media shows, or how that's the general view of things, but that's not really where our roots are. Our roots are in we're working together in solidarity and working these coalitions together. So that's what I'd like to see for people to understand and recognize too. So
that's awesome. Yes, Yuri and Malcolm X, like, just even learning about that is super inspiring, especially when we think about some of the things that happened even recently with some of the Asian violence and Asian hate, that some people have been kind of looking inward, but we really need to build coalitions and see that we're all affected, right? Like whenever anybody's hurting, that we really need to be stronger together. And so I love that you kind of bring and resonate with that message. That's really beautiful. So it sounds like you talked about, obviously going from Asian American Studies to doing some volunteer work. I think you mentioned ACI and ALA as well. And I now want to mention, Nguyen, I think you've worked at ACI as well. Can you kind of tell us a little bit of the background and you doing community organizing in the space of the Asian American or just Vietnamese American space as well?
Sure. Nice to meet you, everybody on the line. Kính chào quý vị. My name is Nguyen. I work at VAR as an outreach coordinator. I filled in the shoes of a very wonderful person, very hard to fill. His name is Jay Nguyen. Jay is now working for the mayor of San Jose, Sam Ricardo's office, and I came in to help with VAR when she left. So it was in November of last year. I worked at Asian American for Community Involvement as I started as the front desk and moved up to be a program manager, program coordinator, and then I became a DUI instructor, working with folks who got DUI, and that gave me the ability to interact with a lot of individuals who have substance abuse issues and have kind of navigate through this whole system of care that was very difficult for them. I also volunteer during my free time as a homeless response advocate, and somehow that work has gotten a lot more garbage, and somehow people keep thinking that I work for affordable housing, but I do not. my my full-time job is with the city of San Jose. I work in the Office of Economic Development. I work with small businesses. I help young adults find employment. I also help building job programs that kind of help match the businesses with the young adults who are looking for work. And then on the day that I'm not working for the city, I work with VAR to get the word out for the community in terms of workers' rights, understanding, helping the Vietnamese community understand about their rights, know the resources. A lot of the Vietnamese workers do not know that they have a certain rights as an employee. Some are being asked to perform duties of an employee, but they are being paid as a 1099. Um, so I kind of work with VAR with Mimi Nguyen from Step Forward Foundation, who is also sits on VAR's board, to kind of get the community to know about the hotline at where they can call. And of course, when all this work is sort of blessed and funded by the Office of Labor Standard Enforcement at the County of Santa Clara. So I'm so grateful for that. And I
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
Linda, your question was about how I got to VAR, right?
Yeah, because you wear a lot of hats, so it's kind of sometimes hard to like, wait, what are you doing now? You're doing a lot,
Right,
and I just want to mention, because you said with OSL, with labor stuff, because I know that we also have a program, right, that really talks about kind of labor rights, and so that's really great that some of the work that you did either now, previously, really connects, like all of it really connects, whether it's
right.
like with the city, us, even your homeless response team, like all that really connects, and
Right.
so that's why. People probably, think that they should clone you because you're really like everywhere and you need to be everywhere and you do such a great job. So yeah, if you can go ahead and elaborate on that and the work that you do even now. And I'll go back to Juan on that too. So what your title is, because I think I forgot to ask that too, what your titles are and how you really got to even VAR and how lucky we are to have you.
Yeah, I really got to VAR from a while back when we worked together on the census. I had that firsthand experience working with VAR and really witnessing how hard VAR really put how much work VAR put into the census operations, and that was way back when I worked with Tree and with Philip, with Don Nguyen, who was a volunteer. VAR really went door to door with ICANN and Vivo and Friends of Hawaii. We all went door to door knocking with community, getting them understand. VAR had that ability to get the word out, faster because VAR is really connected with the community. And then, before I took the job, I really had to really think a lot about, whether when I walk into this role, when I enter this role, does VAR missions and vision and everything that VAR stands for, do they align with my values, right? And then I had that conversation with Hui, with Mimi, and then of course other VAR board member. I realized that VAR really does align with what is it I want to do with my life. So, and the one thing I can call out is that VAR's mission is really to really unite the community.
No, I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful sentiments in terms of like reflecting on like, is this something that I want to get into? Because I feel like you're doing a dozen things, so it's not like you need to dedicate more time and work on more things. And so I love that you bring that up, and I think that the mission of VAR, right, to connect the generations and the culture and all that, whether it's about culture, whether it's about even about being more civically engaged, like all those things, those important things that we do. Are all connected, and we're all trying to really build community with each other. And so thank you for sharing that. I think that is really beautiful. And we're so lucky to have both of you. And going back to Juan, before I forget, so Nguyen, what is your title again? Just to be clear that everybody knows the work that you do and what we should know you as.
everyone can know me as an outreach coordinator with VAR.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. And then Juan, I forget I know you're a manager.
Yeah. So my official title is the Operations and Development Manager. Unfortunately, I'm not a superhero like Nguyen is, and he he does a whole lot. And I wish to. Here's my daughter. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She just pop in and say hi. Um, he does a whole lot, and I wish to be as well rounded as him.
We
So
all do.
as far as my role at VAR, I like to think of myself as the support staff of trying to make everyone's life a little bit easier. Working on the back end support things like managing our virtual office and just kind of streamlining how our workspace to so that we can kind of push forward the sort of programming that we do offer. So not too many frills about it. It's just a lot of uh, details and making things flow well. So
No, no. I
that's the
mean,
way I see it.
again, like you said, back end work is very important to support staff. I tend to think of myself as the same too. I'm supporting all the people do the important work in the front lines, right? And I think you're just as important. And so when you talk about being in terms of the development manager as well, right? You're working on grants, you're working on all these events and stuff. Is there anything that either you're currently working on or you're really excited to work on? I know that you're fairly new, but I know as I learn about more programs, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do that. Like even seeds, like I'm like, I think that's fun to work with the youth, right? Is there anything that is kind of like your passion project that you either love working on now or can't wait to kind of get your teeth sink into?
I can go first, and then Juan can talk more
yeah.
because Juan does a lot more. So I'm very proud of the workers' rights project that we are doing. We are tabling at the Vietnamese American Service Center, the county's building, the VASC. We are there. When we are there, we got to talk to a lot of folks who walk into the center. We are there on Tuesday, right? On Tuesday from 10 to 4 or 5. And then I'm there after my office hours with the city. So I'm there sometimes like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. But I don't have like a set schedule yet. But when we're there, we have the signage of, questions that really pop up to the community. When you at work, do you get discriminated against? When you at work, is your lunch being interrupted? And then those big fonts letters really draw people attention in. And then I got to really sit down with some folks who really have a lot of concerns. And we refer them to the attorney's line, of course. The attorney's line is staffed. It's a county's line, and it's staffed by the Step Forward Foundation staff who speak Vietnamese. And I guess I can share that hotline number here as well. It's 1-866-870-7725. So when you have any issues with work, call that number. If you speak English, just wait for the line to ring or leave a voicemail, and an amazing person named Ruth will call you back. She's amazing. Or you can press 3 to speak Vietnamese. And I think for Vietnamese, you often leave a voicemail and then an attorney will call you back. And that was a work that I'm really proud of. Being there at the heart of the community, at the Basque, which is, just really, really in the heart of the Vietnamese community here, and helping the workers really understand their rights. And also the employers too. A lot of the employers who are Vietnamese, they're new and they don't really understand a lot of this, like COVID sick leave and all these things that really, that are new to them, right? So they got the help that they need from Step Forward Foundation. So that was great. And another proud thing I'm working on is the Black April event that is coming this on Saturday, April 30th, that Huan can talk to us more about.
Awesome. And then, thank you again, Nguyen, for bringing up even VASC. So VASC stands for Vietnamese American Service Center. It's right on Story. I think that they did a soft opening. I'm sorry?
I believe it's on Center Road, but I'm
sorry, Center Road. Yes.
Yeah.
sorry, on Center Road and Thule. And so
Mhm.
so I believe they did like a soft opening in fall, but they're fully open now. So full services of all your like your healthcare needs, which is really great. But then as well as you'll see outreach workers, people from CBOs like yourself. Like I love that you'll see a ton of CBOs there, like VAR, like ICANN, like people like all these other nonprofits coming there to really provide services. And then we do labor rights workshops, which I think is really great. And so I know they even provide like nutrition services and like
Oh, yeah.
some fun exercising classes. And so it's really a good one-stop shop. And I've been trying to encourage my mom to go. And so so if you haven't heard of the VAS, please go. It's a beautiful, I think it's like a 3-4 story. I forget how many stories, but it's gorgeous. And very much modeled in regards to the Vietnamese community. And so you'll go in there and you'll see how beautiful and just welcoming it is as well. So great plug. We always kind of work with them and partner with them, and so happy that they're fully open now. And so back to you, Juan, on kind of like the great programming that you like to talk about or like to do, as well as our upcoming kind of Black April event as well.
Yeah, I mean, this whole Black April thing, I think it's really it's a great experience. We've been well underway for a couple weeks now in our planning process. So mark that on your calendars if you haven't planned already. April 30th at the San Jose City Hall Rotunda. This is I feel like this is kind of like a project that kind of hits home for me too, mainly because it's something that's reflective of our past, and we kind of want to think about gearing towards the future as well. So it's this year's theme is care, compassion, and community. And it's interesting because how this is our first in-person event in the past 2 years. So it's kind of bringing, it's almost like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We couldn't have been able to pull through this pandemic. We're not officially out of it yet, but we're it's getting a little bit brighter, but we couldn't have done it without the care and compassion of our community and those around us, and all the support that we've had from those around us, and kind of giving that sort of support to help bring us to where we are right now. And this year's Black April event, it's kind of centering around that, and kind of thinking about just thinking about how we came to get there. You know what I mean? I think that's been a pretty big project that's been on my mind. Another small thing, I mean, Nguyen already mentioned the VASC. It's always fun to be there and just be able to talk to the folks there. Just the I wish my Vietnamese was a little bit better, and it gives me a chance to kind of brush up on that. So that's a little fun side thing too.
Awesome. And again, Black April, I know we're all new, so we actually haven't been to any of the Black April events in person. I know they did one virtually last year. We always hold it every year, and during the pandemic, it's like we still need to hold something, and so it definitely commemorates the fall of Saigon. And most of us we're not there, but we understand that it is very significant for our community, and it's a way to kind of connect. And I love the theme, care, compassion, and community, right? Like it's pretty much speaks for itself. But I think during these 2 years of the pandemic, it's been really difficult for people. You all know, being kind of frontline workers too, that we sometimes have to give not only compassion to the community, but to ourselves, right? Like forgive yourself for not like working too much or doing too much. And so I really love the theme, and I want you, Nguyen, to kind of maybe elaborate a little bit more on what you're looking forward to Black April, and what you're kind of doing in that field as well, in terms of helping to organize an event that's a little over a week away on, again, April 30th at 10 a.m. at City Hall, San Jose.
Yeah, it's exciting. I as an outreach coordinator, I've been really just flyer dropping with my volunteers. We go door to door, car to car, parking lot to parking lot, just flyer dropping, going to businesses in Vietnam Town, Little Saigon, going to Lion Plaza, just to really get the flyers out to the community. There's no RSVP needed. 9:30 or 10 a.m. on Saturday, April 30th. come by City Hall at 200 East Santa Clara Street at the City Hall Rotunda. Come on by, and we'll have an amazing event, and it's an event with a serious theme, right? It's a sad day for us, but we are here now because of the community that went before us. So for me, it's an event of appreciation, for me to acknowledge my privilege as a person that came here a little bit later by plane, right?
Mhm.
So if you have a flyer that it's hanging on your car, it's probably my job. No, I apologize for that.
I love
But
that.
I have to say that what I really appreciate about Philip, the executive director, is that he let Huan and I sort of run with the ideas, right? We check in with him once a week or so, but um, there is no like micromanagement. There's no like, oh, what are you working on? Why aren't you here? Blah blah blah. It's more of a, tell me your idea and how you can improve the system, and I'll give you my blessing, but you need to convince me within 1, 2, 3, whatever. So that's why I feel empowered to bring ideas up to Philip, our boss, to let him ask him questions, of course, getting guidance from him. So for example, this Black April event is a big event, right? Myself, I can't do it by myself. I need to get some volunteers, and of course a lot of my volunteers are unhoused, right? A lot of my friends are homeless folks on the street. So Philip and I kind of sat together and think of a way, how can we compensate homeless people so that they can conduct outreach to us in a way that it's, of course, legal. So we had to find a 501c3. We had to find a fiscal agent who can take that on, and that fiscal agent will take care of the payroll, of the payment for the unhoused. So it's a bit of a workaround, and I don't think I was able to do that if it just another organization. It takes someone like Philip, right, who would not say no to a possibility for me to come up with creative ideas to compensate homeless people to work in some sort of capacity, right?
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that, again, the volunteer, I know that you do a ton of work in terms of organizing our volunteers. That can't be easy, right? To try to incentivize people who, some of them are unpaid, but I'm glad that you're able to compensate those, who actually are experiencing homelessness and unhoused. And working in this nonprofit, like, you can be creative, right? We know in our government capacity, we can't do stuff like that. And so there's too much red tape. And so that's why I love, working in nonprofit fields where they actually can be creative and can do all this really great stuff. And this is a great segue into kind of talking about both of your hobbies. I know when you talked a little bit about doing, homeless outreach response, and can you kind of talk about that and how you got into that and your passion for that? Because I mean, that is not easy work. That's really selfless work. And I've seen you do a lot of that work, and I'm always just in awe. Like, I don't know how you remember or balance anything.
Well, just like Juan and Linda, yourself and other people, I kind of follow the lead of those who went before me. So thanks to those who went before me and kind of paved the way for me, so that easier to go in to this work. But it's easy for me to really acknowledge that there is such a an inequality and inequity and
Mhm.
inequality that we live in. The system is built to oppress the folks that have been oppressed for years. That the system sets folks up for failure. Um, those who are on the street is really, it's a shame that a lot of folks are on the street like that. And we as in me and my friends, we felt that we want to take the responsibility, right? So we hold ourselves accountable. So we just organize on our own time. We go out to the encampments and we give them food, give them uh, clothing and fire extinguisher. I followed the lead of a lot of people that went before me, so I didn't really come up with anything new. But thanks to the community that we have, I feel supported with the work that I do.
Oh, I love that question. So Philip is joined us, actually watching, and he has a question. One question is, for everyone tonight, could you share one thing y'all been proud of during your time with VAR so far? Ooh, that's a great question. So
I already
Juan,
share mine, so maybe Juan can.
Juan, do you want to share?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Philip, for dropping in and saying hi to Ting Tiang. She just scrolled by. Um, I want to say I haven't been here very long, so it's there hasn't been much that I would be able to say that I'm proud of. But in the very short time that I have been here, I want to say like just after the holidays, there was that weird time in January where there was a lot of uh, the COVID outbreaks or the new Omicron. We got out there during Tet and passed out like all the PPE and all the hand sanitizer and all these COVID masks, COVID test kits at home, and we made it happen. We distributed a ton. It was like a couple thousand, 2,000 ish, is what I remember. And yeah, we were out there for 2 days at the Viet Museum, and we just got in on it and just did the work. And it was kind of like a tough decision of like, do I go, like, I don't want to put my family at risk or anything, but this was for the greater good. So that's what I can say I was proud of.
No, that's a great one. I mean, I think that was right after the holidays when there was a huge surge and there was like
Right.
getting a test kit was like gold. Like everybody's like, where do I get my test? Because I've either been exposed or I think I might be sick. And so, yeah, that event I do remember. And thank you for serving at that event. It was outdoors. It was so it was, fun, friendly, and fairly casual. And so it was pretty safe. But yeah, I think that was a huge need in our community. The mask, the testing, all that. And so thank you for being there and doing that and exposing yourself. But we appreciate it, just like we appreciate you too. And so that's actually a really good one. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Win, do you want to share any
Sure.
other tidbits that you've been kind of working on that you're proud of?
I'm very proud of the Chân ước Chân ráo VAR on air segment.
Mm-hmm.
When I came on board, I thought, oh, G has set up such a wonderful VAR on air kind of a show where we highlight community members. We bring community members who have a lot of things to say, a lot of good work that you've been doing. So G set that up, and I'm pretty sure that it was a success throughout the pandemic because there was something that community really needed. And when I came on and I realized, okay, well, we should do something for Vietnamese women, right? So we came up with the Chân ước Chân ráo segment series where we interview Vietnamese business owners, Vietnamese business entrepreneurs, Vietnamese community organizers with the focus on female. Next month or so, we will have a segment in Las Vegas where we interview a therapist who is Vietnamese, who is female, and she has been working with an organization on her free time called Không Nói Không Biết, where she brings truthful information to the Vietnamese community, help break down all the myths about COVID-19 and all other difficult topic to talk about. So wait for us in May 20th. That's when we're
Mark
going to
your
have
calendars, May 20th. I got it.
the interview will be in Vietnamese. And then in the future, we'll have topics like body shaming in the Vietnamese community. I'll invite Hoa hậu Việt Nam. And then one of the fitness friend of mine who is a great lifter, who's can lift a lot more than I do, to talk about body shaming in the Vietnamese culture. So things like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I've seen a few of those VIT versions of VAR on air. And again, if you're like us where your VIT isn't very good, it's a good show to watch to really to get to know and just to better understand, because you do an amazing job. I think like you've really kind of taken the reins and come up with these amazing topics that none of us really even thought about. And so I love, what you've kind of done with that and connecting, especially with strong women, business leaders, people in the community doing this really amazing work. And Come Nói Không Biết is also, we partner with them a lot as well. And so I think that's really great to elevate a lot of this other work that other community organizers are doing as well. And so awesome.
There are more things that I'm proud of, but I didn't really create them, but it's actually from the board. Hui Zheng and Christina Pham, they also serve at the Charter Commission at the City of San Jose as well. I have no idea. When I look through like the recommendations of the the Charter Commission. I didn't understand any of it, but Hui and Christina are just so amazing. They served and they spend so much time of their free time to do so. And then the redistricting process is also something that we are so proud of. So kudos to the VAR board, who are working board. And if you'll catch Vietnamese American newsletter, is actually the labor of love that Linda Nguyen is doing. She does that every week, and that's all you, Linda. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think you've been bringing up great points because I know we're talking a lot about culture, but yeah, again, the civic engagement, right? That is really important that a lot of people overlook. Well, whether it's the redistricting, because again, every 10 years, our population looks different. We want to make sure that we really are represented, but we'll also build in coalition because sometimes, the voices go unheard when, we only rely on city council. Like we need to build those coalitions and let them know what is important to us. And like you said, the Charter Commission, again, a really great way to be civically engaged, make sure that there's, policies and programs that really reflect the community and that we speak up as well. And so we're really lucky to have both Hui and Christina/CJ on that as well. And then the newsletter, I'll be plugging again, May 20th, right? May 20th. Please mark your calendars for the next VIT version of VAR on air, as Nguyen will be actually hosting that as well. I'm always excited to see those as well. And so again, mark your calendars for May 20th, which is a VAR on air. And then we have Black April coming up in a little bit over a week. So that's April 30th, Saturday at 10 a.m. at City Hall. So I think we've actually covered a good amount. We've probably gone over a little bit, but again, we've had so much fun that it went really quickly. So hopefully it wasn't too much of a bore for you two, but I had a lot of fun getting to know you two. So again, thank you so much, both of you for kind of joining us, and everybody on Facebook Live for also getting to know our staff and getting to know a little bit about the projects that are coming up as well. So I wanted to thank you two and thank everybody else. And we will be ending the evening in today's segment. Have a good one. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you. Bye. Good night.